Hello and welcome to this week's Mets in the UK podcast, bringing you all things Mets from a UK perspective. As always, you can find us on all of the socials. Joe, feel free to jump in if I miss any, but we're on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it today. Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. We also have a link tree on our Twitter, so if ever you get lost, go there. You can find the podcast on Spotify and YouTube and all other podcast hosts. You might notice that the grown-ups have left us alone this week, and it's just me and our Joe. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I thought I'd handily advertise the name of all our various podcasts, social media things via my front, which you can see if you go on YouTube.
Yes, we are all there on Mets in the UK everywhere. And we do also have beautiful t-shirts such as that available. Again, go find our link tree, go find our Redbubble store. If you want to rep Mets in the UK whilst you're out and about or whilst you're heading over to City Field, feel free. We have loads of ways for you to do it. We mentioned that the grown-ups have left us. Tom is off on his summer holidays, so he'll be away for a couple of weeks, and our Tracy is currently, she'll be making her way to City Field shortly. She is over in New York at the moment, having the bestest time in the hot weather. I mean, it's been quite warm.
Sticky.
It's pretty yucky over there, but she has been able to be at the David Wright retirement ceremony and at the bobblehead day yesterday, so we're not a tiny bit jealous, but we are loving that she's there on our behalf and able to enjoy it for all of us.
Yes. We'll live it vicariously.
Yes, exactly. We're loving all of the updates, all of them. How have you been this week, Joe? What have you thought of all things Metsies? We have had the All-Star game. Obviously, it's been a bit of a quieter week on the game front. I don't know about you, but I always look forward to the All-Star game. The past few years been not so great. It's not been that exciting. I mean, the American League have dominated forever except for the other year, which was great. But I think this year I commented that it was probably one of the most legit lineups that I've seen for a long time. I think that the format worked, and we'll get onto that in a moment. We had 4 of our boys representing at the game. The National League won on a swing off. We were 6 up, partly thanks to Pete Alonso's 3-run homer to put us 5 up. And then the American League managed to come back, which partly on Diaz's watch. It was an unearned run, bless him. So it wasn't his fault technically. But they came back to 6-6 and forced the swing off. Which Kyle Schwarber almost single-handedly won for us. David Peterson had an excellent inning. I mentioned Pete had his 3-run homer. Lindor with some sparkling defense as usual. How did you find it?
I enjoyed it, actually. I mean, I don't often watch it, but I watched quite a bit of it this time. I watched the home run derby as well. I quite like the home run derby because I don't know what this says about me, like, when the kids literally run into each other. And anyway, that's quite funny. And that was quite a big kid. Did you see him rob one of the home runs as well?
Yes. Yeah, the home run robbery will go down in law.
I assume they didn't count that one then, because it wasn't a home run, was it? So.
They counted it as a home run, yeah.
They counted it? No, give that kid his glory. Oh, man. The home the All-Star game, I liked it. They're all back in their jerseys and team kit again. And unlike Donald Trump, I actually really like the swing off. If you mention the swing off to anyone in this country, they look at you and they're like, what? What?
Yeah, they might think it's something different.
Yeah, but I really liked it. Well, you mentioned Schwarber with his 3 home runs. That was cool because it did mean that the National League won. But he kind of stole Pete's thunder a bit there because Pete was waiting in the wings, wasn't he, to come in?
Yeah. Pete was due up next. And there's been a whole thing around Schwarber getting MVP. In fairness, the rules had stated that if the game went to a swing-off, MVP should be awarded on the 9 innings and not the swing-off. They must have anticipated that if someone won the swing off the team, then they're going to get it. However, what I would say is, A, it's an exhibition. Okay? It's not the end of the world. B, if you were to watch it, they were all chanting MVP at Schwarber when he came off, including Pete. They were all surrounded, celebrating.
It was a great moment. It was cool.
Yeah, chanting MVP. So I don't think anybody on that team, Pete included, actually had any problem with that. So I can understand where people are coming from. If it had just been the 9, if we'd have won 6-5, Pete would have got it, of course.
Yeah.
Schwarber didn't deserve it just for that, but I've got no issue with it. Like,
I've got no issue, but didn't deserve it.
He didn't. Not just for that, but it's an exhibition game. Like, come on, it's not.
Yes.
It's just not. It's not worth all of the what was going on social media because of it.
Shot.
Yeah, for a change. We also had, of course, some wonderful red carpet moments with that. I think that was one of the best things about the whole All-Star week is, a lot of the players aren't involved. They get to go home and be with their families, and it's probably something that they circle in their calendar to go and get some downtime and some family time. These guys travel so much of the year and don't get any time with their families. So I think it's a great part of the week that their families get to be with them, and often on the field, around the dugout, the whole experience with them. And I think that's a massive part of it. And seeing all of the families and all of the children, but I have to shout out the Lindors particularly because they were just adorable. Seeing all that on the red carpet, I think was just so lovely. It's such a moment for them.
They're good at that kind of thing, though, the Lindors. They're probably like style it out, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They stole the show. Okay, after all of the All-Star festivities were out of the way, we got going again.
Just about.
Yeah. And there's always that balance between players being rested and coming back from a break and players being rusty. They're not used to having 4 or 5 days off. But it's the same for both teams. You can't use that as an excuse. We lost the series 2-1. Only a couple of home runs over the whole series from Soto in game 1, Beatty in game 2. Torrens got pretty beat up throughout the whole thing. We had Manaea came in, was great for 4 innings. He got pulled on a pitch count. Clay Holmes was solid till he got pulled. David Peterson had a bit of a shaky first last night, but then was just back doing David Peterson things. Mm-hmm. No worries there. So, and in both of the 2 losses, Friday and Saturday, we had the tying runs at the plate, which is so frustrating. Now, I'm going to let you share your thoughts at this point before I get irrationally wound up about leaving runners in scoring position, because we all are well aware of my feelings about that. So until I can talk about that rationally, did you see the games? What were your thoughts? How did you feel? We'll get onto the whole David Wright side of things afterwards.
Yeah. I dipped in and out. Another theme that popped its ugly head again was some dodgy umpiring calls. Again.
It's kind of standard at this point, isn't it?
True.
Especially on Soto on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, he was fuming, wasn't he? Absolutely fuming. But, Torrens getting smashed around. To be fair, the umpires were getting a few bashes as well, weren't they? Which everyone was getting hit. Everyone. The things I took from it, Brett Beatty's doing well. He seems to have picked up, which I hope he can continue, because he's been getting some hits and home runs at big moments, and he's doing the defensive stuff. So I'm hoping this is him on the consistent path now to just being a good ball player, consistent one. So that was cool. But I'm slightly worried about Lindor again, whether the pressure of certain potential impending moments is getting to him and he's putting himself under undue pressure. But he's gone over 5 a few times in a row now, hasn't he? Over 4. He
has, and I think you're right. I think part of it is that he's trying to carry it all himself. we know that the whole captain talk is around. And the reason that the captain talks is because he already acts like one. But for all intents and purposes, he is the current team captain. And that does mean, to an extent, carrying it, but it also means sharing it with your team, and being that person to help get them through, not necessarily carry it all yourself. But I do feel like it's nothing new. If Lindor struggles, the team seems to struggle. If Lindor is doing well, the team is doing well. So yeah, like you, I'm hoping that he comes out of it. It's almost like he's having his standard start, because of course normally he starts
slow,
poorly, and gets going. This year there was none of that, so maybe he's just
having a mid-season one.
Exactly. Starting the second half of the season a bit more slowly, but hopefully he will come out of that. You mentioned, people getting beat up. I mean, Friedel for the Reds seemed to be a ball magnet. I complain about our boys being hit by a pitch a lot, but he just got smacked like so many times the whole series. One of the highlights for me was Brooks Raley coming back on Saturday and looking good. I think that's really good. Yeah, because so many times, and this weekend is the perfect example. Friday and Saturday, as soon as we handed it over to the bullpen, that's when it kind of came apart. They were tight games at that point when the starters left. I mean, Peterson now has his ERA down at 2.90, and he's going deep as well in his starts, which is great. We need to get Holmes there. Hopefully they'll alleviate the Manaea pitch count soon enough so that we can get him back into 6-7 innings. So I think it was important that we won last night. And we've also been helped out by the team that we're about to face, the Angels, taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies as well. So we've ended the week 56-44 and still only half a game back from the Phillies. So as disappointing as the series was, more just because of how many times we left runners in scoring position. And do you know what? So many people are saying, it's a season-long pandemic. Da, 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 da. Do you know what? It's not even a season-long one. It's a 3 or 4 season-long one.
Yes, we've been pulling our hair out for ages about this.
Yeah, this is not a new thing. This is not a this season thing. It's just that, especially last year, we were offensively more powerful. We had so many games where we just blew teams away that it wasn't as noticeable if it happened. But it happened last year just the same. Well, perhaps not to the same extent, but it's happened for years and years and years. It is my joint most hated thing in the whole of sport.
We need a T-shirt, a rude T-shirt, I think, for this.
I think so. I think we need to do something because, it's getting crazy. So yeah, I think it was important that we won. I think that we're still in decent shape for the year. We've not lost the year because we lost this series.
We've not lost ground. That's the thing. That's the thing we can cling to, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Angels. Thanks. And now you can come and roll over for us for the next 3.
They tired themselves out with the effort, and now they're just
exactly that. And shortly we'll get to speak to our Nick, and Nick is going to join us and have a bit of a chat about the upcoming Angels series. So keep tuned in for that. Moving on from the week that was on the field, only a little bit of news. It's expected this time of year. It's a little bit quieter. I think the biggest news outside of roster moves is that Max Kranick has been confirmed to have another Tommy John surgery. It's his second one in 3 years, which is a bit of a worry. I feel bad for him because I'm a Max Kranick fan. So it's not great news. But other than that, Joe, there have been a whole load of roster moves as per usual.
Yeah, and we've even had some relatively updated ones, so breaking news almost. But I'll let you know a few of them anyway, because there's a very long list. The one I was going to start with, we signed Mitch Voigt. Have you heard of Mitch Voigt? Because I did a little bit of reading about him. He sounds quite a prospect. He was our 38th pick in the first round of the draft. And he played for the Wolverines at the University of Michigan, 56 games, 0.346 batting average, 14 home runs, which is the leader on his team, and his OPS is 1.139.
Yes.
And they've described him as a two-way player, so I'm thinking he could be a star. Sounds good.
He could be the next Shohei.
That's what I was thinking. But, probably a bit early to get our hopes up on that one.
And that's the thing. And to be honest, it's not unusual for the youngsters at that point to be two-way. To be fair, by now they've normally chosen.
That's why it popped out at me. I was like, oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it is different at this point, and there is a lot of buzz around him. We've signed a number of our draft prospects. We've not gone through and signed all of them just yet. Don't panic, people. It's perfectly normal. They have to work through the conditions and the bonuses, and the players have to accept, and there are medicals and there's so much to get through. But our main picks signed, done, dusted, and not only that, we've been doing it well fiscally as well. We've been doing well so you have a certain amount of money that's allocated, and there's an expectation of how much you're going to spend at each pick. And we've been doing well at managing that pretty well. So continue.
It should be a good one. Buto's gone on a rehab assignment to the Syracuse Mets. You mentioned Brooks Raley. He was activated from the 60-day injured list and performed excellently. What else we got on here? Oh, Richard Lovelady was DFA'd again, wasn't he?
He was.
Poor old Rich.
Yeah.
Poor old Rich. We optioned Brandon Waddell, I like to say Waddle, to the Syracuse Mets. And then there was a few other little bits and bobs of pictures, but the big news today was we recalled Francisco Alvarez. Senga went down, but to be fair to him, he did all right. He did a job, didn't he, filling in, but he was never going to be the replacement, so that was fine.
No, he wasn't. And, Senga, we've said before, he's there to do the job defensively. He's not going to be as good offensively as Francisco, and nor as Torrens hustle. I still love it.
He throws so many people out, doesn't he? He's like a machine, that man.
He's outstanding. I feel a little bit bad for him. It'll be interesting to see. I think Alvy will come back and resume number one spot. But it's never really been a 1 and 2 with them. It's been fairly even. I'd like to see that continue and for Torrens to still get a good amount of the time. And that probably leads us quite well to one of the questions.
Hang on. I've just seen one more quick little bit, actually. The shock horror. After me saying Richard Lovelady was DFA'd, he's been sent outright to Syracuse Mets again.
So he must have cleared. Oh, okay. Win. Yeah. Well, he's sticking with us. He must love us.
He love Lady Mets. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry.
No. You're good. I think we were a little bit tardy with our question ask this week, but it's mostly. I'm going to be honest, right? Much as Joe and I love our baseball, we also kind of love our football, and England and Italy, I'm just going to say, women are playing tomorrow, and quite frankly, we want to be watching that. So,
and we'd probably be drunk by the end of it. So,
this is true. And we both, and so we took the executive decision because the grown-ups left us alone.
We're in charge
to record today, so that we can enjoy that tomorrow. But we had a question, I think, around Alvy.
We did. Unpaid Not Dead asked, is Alvy ready for the big leagues, or do you think we're going to have a slow slide back to old habits? He's been on good form, though, recently. He's been slugging, hasn't he? So I'm hopeful. What do you think, Tor?
He has. His stats while he's been down there, he's played 19 games, hit 11 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 9 walks. So he's been showing, for a time, he did show really good plate discipline. And it looks like that's come back. I think from what I've seen from while he's been down there, he's been working on his stance. So it's an interesting one, because when he first went down, they said that he was going to focus on his offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were talking about wanting to make sure that his defense was solid before they brought him back. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe the feel was that his defense had suffered a little bit. And also, it's probably because of how well Torrens does defensively. Yeah. They need to be sure that if they're bringing him back, he's going to be able to do that defensively as well, because we can't afford to have pass balls, dodgy throws, wild pitches. So they must feel that he's ready. He has been doing well. We have to remember that a number of times already this season, we've seen players go down to AAA and do really well, and then come up and struggle. Yes. So I'd like to hope that he's ready. You have to trust that they wouldn't bring him back if he weren't ready. And I just hope that he takes the opportunity. That's what we need. And
it's been a kick up the bum for him, hopefully.
Exactly that. I think if he can take it as learning, and bring it and the things that he's worked on, which he's clearly worked on, if he can apply that in the big leagues, then I think he's great. But I'm not as worried about Alvey coming back up and using Alvey, because we know that we've got Torrens that can step in for the day-to-day if needs be.
But he could come back. I'm just hoping he could come back like the Alvey of a season or so ago, like absolutely smashing it. And that's going to make a huge difference, especially at the bottom of the lineup, because that's where it gets a bit stagnant. I say some days, but most days at the moment.
Most days, yep, indeed.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We did get another question. Do you want another one? Mm-hmm. From a strange individual called Natalie Berry 81 on Twitter.
Oh, she's not familiar.
No, she says, still feels like the Mets have lost their mojo in recent games. Any idea how they can get it back, and which players might be trade chips? What do you think?
Oh, interesting one. Now I wish that I'd have taken a look at that before. That's proper on the spot stuff. I think we mentioned that we need Lindor to heat up. Mm-hmm. It's so important for the team. We mentioned the correlation between his performances and the team's performances. I think after he had a hot couple of weeks, Nimmo's fallen off a little bit as well. We've been so reliant on our Fab Four, as they were termed, that if any of them are off, it's not ideal. We are clearly struggling further down the order. We're getting, the odd hit. And again, we've got some great plate discipline. I mean, my guy Ty gets on base so frequently. He's got at the bottom of the order, but he's not necessarily got the power he's not going to hit homers, right? He's not going to drive guys in. But a lot of the time, there's no one in ahead of him anyway. Torrens has got great plate discipline and is capable of a homer. But again, he's more likely to be knocking players in front of him. So we've kind of got that gap in the middle where we need them to get on. I like that they've been playing Beatty further down the order, because he is the guy that is capable of hitting that home run and getting a few in. I want to see him. We talked about this the other day about hoping that this isn't a streaky Beatty and this is like you said, a consistent Beatty. We need to do something with the bullpen. I don't know what. I'm not David Stearns.
I don't know. Stanek is the one we need to get back on track, because he scares me at the moment a little bit.
Yeah, he was fine last night. He was all
right. It was a bit of hard work though, wasn't it? But he got
a little bit. But he didn't look beaten at any point. Was the thing last night.
And again, like we mentioned before, with him, when he does get through it, he probably gives it, doesn't he?
I'm a Stanek fan, but I think we're there are a couple of gaps there. which again I'm sure we can get onto. But yeah, I think it's little tweaks. I don't think we need anything major or wholesale.
You can't force Mojo though, can you? My only suggestion on the Mojo front pops right into my head. The only thing I could think that might trigger a resurgence of Nimmo, for example, I think he should shave the beard and see what happens.
But you love rugged Nimmo.
I know, but I think maybe he needs to flip the script.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Or maybe Lindor needs to cut his hair or something.
Sometimes these little things have big effects.
Perhaps. And before we welcome Nick in, there is one more thing that came up. Last week, the guys were talking about CJ's equivalence of the Spice Girls plus Tom. So we have nicknamed Tom Bald Spice, and it got us thinking about what the rest of us might be. I don't know what the answer is. I think CJ suggested that you might be Crockery Spice.
You said crockery, but I thought crocked spice was better because of my dodgy hips. Dodgy hips. Can I say in these?
But on that theme, I think for you, we'd probably go back to one of the originals. I think you'd have to be Sporty Spice, right?
Well, if you're going original, I'll take it. But I'm not posh, so.
Context. I mean, David would have to be like Silver Spice or something.
Yeah, Silver Fox Spice, yeah.
Maybe Andrew could be Statty Spice. I don't, because he loves
Statty Spice. Yes.
Spice.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know.
Tracy, she's not here. What do we think? Yeah. Tracy? She could be like Bossy Spice.
Yeah, maybe Scary Spice.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does that leave you then, Phil?
If we're going with originals, that would leave me Ginger, which is the obvious choice, obviously. Or Posh, which is not the obvious choice.
Or you could be Owl Spice.
I could be Owl. yeah. Night Spice.
Yeah, Night Owl Spice. Sorted. There you go.
There we go. If you have any suggestions of what our Spice Girl / man nicknames should be,
you can't beat Bald Spice, so that's great.
You can't beat Bald Spice. He is officially in my phone as Bald Spice. So if you have any ideas, feel free to comment. Let us know. As always, we really appreciate our regular listeners and contributors. We know you, we see you, we love you. Thank you very much. Please feel free to like, comment, share, and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in the spirit of sharing, let's bring in Nick as we start to look forward to next series. Evening, Nick. How are you?
Hey, I'm very good, thanks. How are you? I came into that waiting room just when we were talking about dodgy nips, so I'm not sure what sort of show we've had before I got here.
Slip of the tongue, that one. I thought no one was going to notice.
I noticed straight away.
Thanks for bringing that one up, Nick. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Nick is LA Angels UK. So he is going to join us and talk all things Angels, because as we look forward, we now have a 3-game series against the Angels at Citi Field. Nick, we mentioned earlier how thankful we are to the Angels for taking 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. Yeah. Following that, we have 3 against the Giants and 1 against the Padres. And I'm going to try not to complain too much about us going out to the West Coast, given that we've got Nick on. But I have to say, those games are all stupid. Oh, well, aside from, I think, the first game against the Padres is almost normal because it's midnight.
Normal for you.
It's normal. But one of them's like 2:05. What am I doing at 2:05? Come on, give me 3:05.
You'll be watching it. You'll be watching it.
Oh, stop. Anyway, so we do have, as I mentioned, 3 games coming up against the Angels. Monday through Wednesday. Wednesday is UK friendly. So very much looking forward to that. Nick, what can we expect?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You should expect a good offensive team, I would say we are right now. A lot of home runs. I think we hit something like 50% of our runs almost via the long ball. It's quite crazy, really, but we just have a lineup of guys that can hit it over the fence. There's not much else that comes with it. We don't play much small ball. We don't really get people on base. They're quite often solo shots, but we are in the midst of some offensive breakouts from some of our guys, Joe Adele being the main one. Honestly, if you've ever heard anything I've said about Joe Adele, ever listened to any of our podcasts, I thought he was a complete bust. I never saw this coming. He's now had a 2-month spell where he is absolutely crushing the ball. Probably our best hitter. He's hit 21 home runs. He's already up to his record, and it's going to continue. OPS is getting up there. He looks like a completely different hitter to anything we've seen before. And obviously, he was a really highly touted prospect when he was younger. All the physical tools, really clever guy. All the things were there for it to put it together, but it just wasn't working because the Angels' development is pretty poor. But actually, this year, it's happening. Zach Neto, again, should have been an all-star, just a fantastic young player. Shanuel, Trout's hitting really well since he's come back from injury. Up and down the lineup, you'll see now, we got guys that can hit. The problem is, and I think you'll probably have similar issues, the bullpen is very up and down. There's some good arms in there, but also, as we saw against one of the Phillies games, just the wrong matchup, the wrong guy, and grand slam Schwarber, and that's it. Can't come back from it. But do you know what? I always think whenever I do these things, it depends how the Angels have done probably the last few days, depending on my mood. We're very much a middle-of-the-road team right now. We can be good. We can be bad. Our record just says that anytime we get close to 500, we don't get over it. We drop a few games and go back to where we are now, 2 games below it. So I'm interested to see how the series goes. I know you haven't been on the greatest form. We actually weren't in the best either going into the All-Star break, but have come back from it and had a really, really good series win in Philly. So let's see.
And you won on a Sunday.
Which is so rare. I actually started counting the stats on this, and it is quite crazy. I mean, actually, it's a complete anomaly to any other year. Usually, it just balances it out. But this year, we just cannot win day games. And I know we messed with the lineup a little bit, but it is quite remarkable just how bad we are. I think that was our first win on a Sunday since like May. It was
since Easter.
Yeah, it was the Dodgers series, wasn't it? So, yeah, we'll take it.
I saw a bit of. I haven't seen as much of the Angels, obviously, you and Toria, because Toria watches them quite a bit. But I saw a bit of them yesterday, and to look at them, they don't look like the most. Apart from Trout, obviously, they all look like quite little weedy small guys. And I was like, these little small guys. And then I spotted Taylor. Was it Taylor Ward? And I messaged Toria and said, "How do we get him? I quite like him."
Taylor Ward's an interesting one. He's very streaky, but this year he's having a really excellent year. I think he's hit 23 home runs, a similar amount of doubles. The OPS is getting up there. He plays like reasonable defense in left field. He's a good player. He's got a year and a half left. I think if the Angels do sell, he's absolutely one that could bring something in for us. I don't think the Angels will sell, though. It's just unfortunately not in the makeup of Artie Moreno to do it, despite it being the best thing for this franchise. They'll probably go and try and buy, despite being under 500 and games back in the wild card. But yeah, Taylor Ward.
A handful of games back, though, in the wild card. See, this was what I was going to talk to you about as well. I mean, we all know I'm wildly optimistic in all things, always. And I think with 10 days of the window to go, if you are within touching distance, now it would be a bit more encouraging if they'd have gotten over that 500 a couple of times over the last couple of months. Like you said, they get to 500 and then it's almost like a mental block.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, they're still right there. And I think it would only take a small swing. So do you see them as buyers rather than sellers at the trade deadline?
I do, only because I know the franchise, I know who runs it, and I know that they make stupid decisions all the time. This is going to sound ridiculous because obviously I always want the Angels to win, and I would love nothing more than us to win every single game for the rest of the year and win the World Series.
Of course.
It's not going to happen. Actually, this 10 days, a small part of me, and maybe it's more than a small part of me, wants to just lose a bit, wants to get to a point where we get to that deadline and they can't actually make a case for like, let's go out and sell off the few prospects we do have and buy and make a push. Because even though I would love that as a fan, you never don't want your team to make a push and try and win. We're just not there. We are not a good enough team to do it. We will fall flat. It'll be like we did 2 years ago with Atani when we didn't trade him and we sold everything else off and tried to buy in. And then we just went on a losing spree. And yes, this team I think is better. Yes, it's got some younger talent like Neto, Shanuel, Adele, etc. But we are certainly not in a place where we're good enough to compete. So it would be completely foolish for them to buy. But I'm 75% sure they will be buyers at the deadline.
I've got a quick question actually. Out of all the pitching matchups, who've got the best chance against? Because like I say, I don't know as much as you guys. So out of the three, we don't know the last one, but what if you got Hendricks?
You have a good chance against all three of these. We've basically lined up our rotation because we've got Seattle and Texas coming up, so that Kikuchi and Soriano, who are our two reliable starting pitchers, can go against all of them. So actually, we did a bullpen game against the Phillies just so we can match up these for those series down the line, which means Tyler Anderson is fine. Like Tyler Anderson on his day will chuck 6 innings, 3-run ball, keep you in a game. He's been a reasonable, he's a number 4 guy that plays as a number 3 for the Halos, and he's okay. Hendricks, he's cooked. I mean, every now and again you'll get a good start from him, but in reality, he can't keep the ball in the park. You should be able to get hits off him. He's obviously a wily veteran and he knows how to pitch, but he just doesn't have it anymore. And then that 5th starter, honestly, who knows who it's going to be for that 3rd game. At this point, we've had no indication. They might bring up a guy called Medeiros from the minors, but they might go to a bullpen game.
That worked well last time.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, all of our best pitching prospects are kind of out at the moment with fatigue. Apart from Klassen, who I don't think they'll bring up, the Angels are really bad at talking about injuries, really bad at giving us any sort of information. So a few of the guys are just not pitching at the moment, and nobody knows why because they won't tell us. So really, there is nobody to bring up for that 3rd game. So I would say you have a strong chance of winning all 3 of these games.
You say that, but we're the Mets. You'll probably smash us in the game.
Yeah, but we're the Mets of the West. So
it's a good matchup, then, isn't it?
That's fair. That's probably a good analogy.
You've got Senga going.
Senga tonight, yeah.
Which I haven't seen him pitch much this year, but I saw his record earlier. Has he been as dominant as it looks?
It's a weird one because I watch him and he never feels like he's that dominant. But then you look at his stats and he's up there, isn't he?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. He's only just come back, so there's not a massive sample to go off so far this year. But when he's pitched, he's been solid. He's gotten into trouble a couple of times, but he's good at getting himself out of it. But he is. I mean, the stats don't lie. They are what they are for a reason, right? He is an outstanding pitcher. And then I think we've got Montas tomorrow, who we don't really know what we're getting with Montas. He is capable of being fine. He is also capable of being wild and not giving us anything. And then we've got Manaya on Wednesday, I think. So hopefully that will be we'll get vintage Manaya.
I think you definitely have the upper hand on the pitching matchups. That's for sure. As I said, you've done well to miss Kikuchi and Soriano.
Absolutely.
Kikuchi was our all-star this year. Soriano, I would say, is our best pitcher. He's got the best stuff by far in the rotation. So definitely advantaged you on that front. But then the one thing I haven't been confident of in quite a long time, and I am this year, is our offense is good. We can score runs off anyone. They will score. You will need to score runs. Famous last words. It'll probably be like 2-1 or something right now. But I'm generally pretty optimistic with this team that we are on good form with the bat. And actually, they started the lineup's looking deeper and deeper. Moncada's come back from injury, who's been very good for the Halos. Probably a guy that gets traded if we do sell off. Rengifo started picking things up. It means the bottom of the lineup's now no longer a black hole, and actually all the way down it. I haven't mentioned Jorge Soler. There's power everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah, Soler can just come from nowhere, just come to the plate and effortlessly. Just there's a home runner. Yeah, okay.
Pretty
Where did
much.
that come from? Yeah. Beyond that, like I said, we're on the West Coast as well. So we've got 3-game series against the Giants and the first one against the Padres before we are back next Tuesday. Of course, Nick, you're going to be familiar with those teams over on the West Coast as well. Less familiar with our Metses, but if you had to stick a number on how many of those 7 games we're going to win, what do you reckon?
3.
Nice.
And then 3 or 4. I actually think we'll probably get to it, but I think you'll win this series just because of the way the pitching is. I think we'll probably take 1. I think you'll take 2. And I think you'll probably take a couple from the Giants or Padres, but they're good teams. I mean, it's a good division. It's a strong division. But I think actually what we've seen in baseball this year is it feels like there's a lot more parity across the board, doesn't it? It feels like anyone, other than a few bottom feeders, anyone on their day can beat anyone, more so than usual. I think I've noticed it. Our record actually is surprisingly, we've been really good against better teams. I think we're above 500 against teams that are above 500. And then actually the series we've been losing are against some of the teams we absolutely shouldn't be. So, and I think that's not just an Angels thing. I think I've noticed that across the majors, really. Maybe you've seen similar with yourselves. Yeah.
That's what we generally do. Joe, what are you going for?
I think we'll squeak past the Angels, but I don't think we're going to be back to our best yet. I think it's still going to be a struggle and huffing and puffing and lots of men on base and no one getting them in. Because that's what we do best. And then I think the same theme. I think the big kind of franchise teams like the Giants and stuff, I think we might perk up then. Because when we played the Yankees a few weeks ago, we were terrible until then. And we woke up. And then went back to sleep again. But we woke up. So, yeah, I think it will be an interesting series. But, yeah, I think we'll sneak past the Angels just about.
Okay. I am going to go for... I want to be optimistic and say 4 and 3.
Ooh.
I think we're going to take the Angels series, although it's not going to be easy. And again, Nick, you've just talked about it. Obviously, I've seen plenty of Angels baseball. This is the difference between watching the games and looking at the stats. Like you can't, if you just look at the stats and look at the Angels' overall record, you're going to take it. If you look at the Angels' runs scored, they had a 5-run inning yesterday. Like there is no, if we give up a 5-run inning,
that's done. We're done. We're done.
Like, and this is from to the last out person. Like we concede a 5-run inning, and the Angels are capable of doing that. They are capable of getting guys on base. They are capable of then following that up with someone getting a homer or at least a bases clearing double. Like it's just what they do. So I would like to say that we're going to take it 2-1. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's the reverse. Just because of our offensive struggles. I don't think that it's necessarily going to come down to the pitching. I think that it's going to come down to our lack of offense. And then Giants and Padres, I'm hoping that we're going to get up for that. So I'm hoping that I think we'll probably lose the first game after travel because they'll need to wake up. But after that, hopefully we'll take the Giants and then maybe the first one against the Padres.
I think tonight's game will be the crucial one for this series. It's the one, I mean, Anderson's probably our best pitcher of the 3 going, and Senga's game for you. I think it will set the tone for the series. I've already written off Wednesday's day game. We don't win in the day, and we don't have a starting pitcher. So I've kind of written that one off. So I think tonight is massive. in terms of how things go for the rest of it.
I agree.
What's been happening with you? I saw Alonso, Lindor have been slumping a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, particularly Lindor.
How long's that been going on for?
Quite a while.
Has it?
I've had a rumour he's gonna wake up tonight though.
Quite possibly. That would be my luck.
Yeah, he's been saving it. No, he's we were saying earlier, it's a bit of a concern because there's a massive correlation between how Lindor plays and how the team performs, rightly or wrongly. It just anecdotally seems to be that if Lindor plays well, the Mets win, and if he's not on it, we don't do so well. We have our top four, and if one of them slumps, we're in trouble. At the moment, Soto is still getting on base frequently, but the other three, they're not really
doing anything.
They're not. They're kind of pecking away, which hopefully means that they are overdue. They're just going to explode against you guys. But yeah, I mean, they've got to snap out of it. And I think they will. And I was saying this, and I don't know if you found this video. I didn't see. Did I see Friday night's game? Angels game? I don't think I did. Anyway, the All-Star break gives an opportunity for rest, but it also gives an opportunity for rust. And I think that get through that first series back, kind of just shake it off and move on, and hopefully they'll be up for it for tonight.
Yeah, they're too good to stay slumping for so long, aren't they? I mean, I think that's baseball generally, though, isn't it? Unless you are a genuine superstar, all players have these sort of down periods, and then they'll get on a hot streak. And as you said, all it takes is one at bat, one thing that clicks again, and then the timing's back and everything's back, and they'll go on another run. So I guess the nice thing for you is you're still in a pretty strong position despite some of these struggles, and actually there's a lot more to come. And I think that's always a positive spot to be in, even if you'd rather take the wins now.
Yeah, we banked a few, didn't we? At the start of the season, we actually played well for a long period of time for a change, and then which is a good job because we'd be really struggling now if we hadn't got that bank of games in the bag. We needed those.
Yeah, and like we said before, we're still right up there with the Phillies. I think the division lead is going to change probably like 30 times in the next. We've got like 60 games left. It's going to change. Is it 59 now? 60. 59, 60. It's going to 60, 56 and 44, so 60. So it's going to change a lot over these next 60 games. So I'm not concerned. Like you said, we're lucky that we banked the performances that we did at the start of the year. We just need to find the vibe again, which I'm sure they will. Speaking of vibes, Nick.
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, whilst we have you, talk to us a little bit about the UK community for MLB.
Definitely, yeah. Always a fun topic. So anyone that doesn't know us, alongside doing the stuff with the Angels, I do stuff with MLB UK Clubhouse. We just rebranded this year from MLB UK Community, which you might have seen before. Effectively, what we do is put on watch parties once a month in London, where we try and get people together to watch baseball, drink some beers, eat some food, hang together. It's a very social sport, in my view. We don't get the opportunity enough in this country just because it's still pretty niche. We're all spread around all over the place, and it's difficult to get together. So this is what we try to do. Try to create these opportunities for people. We've worked really closely with Bat Flips and Nerds, with MLB Europe, to put together this UK fan network. And actually, what we want, and anyone listening to this, we always say this, whilst we do our events in London, we want to do these around the country. There are baseball fans everywhere, and we've had some interest, and we're trying to put on some events. And all you need to do is find a venue, somewhere that will show a game for you. We'll do all your advertising for you. We'll do all your promo. We'll push it out. We just want to get this bigger than London. We want it everywhere, because I just know, I mean, I speak to both of you, neither of you two are in London. I know this the same. all across the fan bases. So yeah, it's really exciting times. We obviously have not got a London series this year, but we do have something coming up next month with MLB Europe, who've put something on, and hopefully we'll get games back here soon, fingers crossed. But in the meantime, let's get together and watch baseball.
And where can we find you, both your own and MLB Clubhouse, on the socials?
Yeah, so we're on all your usual social platforms. The @ is MLB UK Clubhouse, and my own one is @ LA Angels UK. So yeah, go follow that on X, on Instagram, wherever. I haven't done any TikToks for a while, but if you want TikTok content, some of it's there.
Just gotta ask. I'm not doing any TikTok content. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
TikTok. I think I'd just lose days going on there.
I lose enough time just scrolling. So
yeah, exactly. I'm steering clear. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us, Nick. We really appreciate that. It's been great to have someone able to, we do our little look forwards to the series that are coming up, but it's normally about 2 seconds flat. And our predictions that are, for what it's worth, we're both predicting series wins. We're terrible at predictions, which means
quite good.
Not bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've also predicted you a series win, so I don't know how this works.
Well, let's hope that we're all right and we come away with the series win. In the meantime, Nick is always good for some good old-fashioned Facebook banter. So go find him. And he loves Mets, really. He told us. So
I prefer them to the Phillies, if that counts.
There we go. We'll take it.
Perfect.
We are going to wrap up there. Sorry?
Just say, well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate coming on and chatting to you.
No, you are welcome, and you're welcome to come join us anytime if you just want to
I'll swap hats.
Just hang out.
Yeah. Stick a Mets hat on. Come and interject, but you can just come and hang out and hear us talk Mets whenever you like. All that leaves us to say, and you're welcome to join in if you'd like, Nick.
I'll listen. Just a listening brief.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Go Halos.